everyone, it's Dura. If you know me, you know that I love electronic music of any genre. But just because I love every genre doesn't mean I love every single element of electronic music. And I'm going to talk about 4 elements of electronic music I don't like. Now keep in mind this is just my personal opinion, and if you enjoy any of these elements, that is perfectly fine. These are just the elements that I do not like. With that being said, let's get started with number 1, 808 beats. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not entirely against 808 beats. I enjoy them for ambient and chill out, such as in Aphex Twin Selected Ambient Works 85 to 92. Their light, subdued nature makes them really good for that kind of sound. I'm talking about how 808s are used in a modern context. If you listen to a lot of radio, trap, or rap, you'll know that they use 808s all throughout it. And while I'm not that big of a fan of trap, I do love rap, and I know it's normally a hard-hitting genre. Well, except for Fetty Wap, but... sorry, I almost puke every time I have to call Fetty Wap rap. Anyway, if you combine instrumentals from a genre that's supposed to be hard-hitting, heavy and industrial, like most hip-hop, and then you take drums from an album that's meant to be relaxing, in my personal opinion, you don't get a very good combination. Speaking of beats I don't like, let's talk about 4-on-the-floor beats. Now again, I'm not entirely against this. I love bands that do use a lot of 4-on-the-floor beats, like Daft Punk, even some Deadmau5, and Skrillex. But I just don't find them as interesting as the break beats you find in genres like drum and bass, IDM, or jungle. Now granted, I know that not everyone has the time to spend making a polyrhythmic beat. Some people like focusing more on melodies or sound design, and as such, don't really like spending as much time on the beat. And that's perfectly fine. I just prefer more complicated rhythms in my tracks. Now let's move on to something that's not beat-oriented, and I imagine is going to be quite controversial: the wobble bass. Now don't get me wrong, I absolutely love dubstep. Skrillex, Seamless R, and Virtual Wire are all amazing artists in my opinion. But here's the thing, most of their sounds aren't straight wobble basses. A lot of their sounds focus more on sound design using wavetable or FM synthesis, and as such give them a more complicated sound. I'm talking about like the straight, just subtractive low-pass filter basses. I'm personally not a big fan, but I understand they're kind of a classic in electronic music, so And the last thing that I'm going to talk about today is weak bass. Now, I am into the more melodically interesting stuff like Aphex Twin, even some Deadmau5, but even then, I need my tracks to have some bass in them. Otherwise, it just feels empty to me. That is why if you see me produce any of my tracks, you'll know that I turn the sub-bass way up. Now then again, this can come down to personal preference, but then again so can pretty much everything on this list, so I'm not going to apologize. And there you go, those are 4 things that I do not like about electronic music. If there are any things you don't like about electronic music, leave them down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching, this has been Dura, and I will see you lovely people later.